Hi
Hello.
guys.
Welcome back to
Welcome
the
back.
Consistency Code podcast. In today's episode, we are going to be debriefing and recapping the Toronto Pro qualifier and show that just happened this past weekend. I was
hmm
lucky enough to attend in person, and I will say wholeheartedly that that was the most stacked competitive pro qualifier and pro show for bikini that I have ever seen, honestly, probably. And I've heard this from multiple people too. It was an
hmm
insane turnout, an insane show, super fun to watch. So I'm very excited to dive into that in this episode. And we're also going to talk about some bodybuilding, bikini truths, misconceptions, our hot takes on certain things in bikini. So yeah, let's get right into it.
So I watched the pro qualifier on through like their live, but since Bella was there, I was getting live recaps, guys. And honestly, being there obviously is like better than like watching it online, right? But it was, like Bella said, the most stacked I've seen in that exact show, even in a few years. And just how everybody showed up was so consistent, like when it comes to like conditioning and their looks, like it was so bikini, right? And so it was really fun to watch.
I wouldn't say there was like any outliers. Like
hmm
everybody brought their best, seriously, and I love to see that because it's so much more fun and
hmm
respectable when everybody brings their best and like, truly brings a killer package. Like it kind of takes away from the sport when you see people show up who like aren't 100% and could be better, like haven't hit
hmm
conditioning, like, don't really have like the muscle to like be on a pro qualifier stage. So yeah, seeing such a competitive show was
Yeah.
really cool to watch. And yeah, like Rutha said, I was sending her videos of
Like
every
every
single
second, guys.
class, like
So
every
good.
comparison round. Like she
Even the
basically had a live
men's.
stream from me.
I loved it. But yeah, I think the way that it feels, the way I can put it into like words is like if everybody shows up at 100%, it's so unpredictable as like where it's gonna go. So it's so fun to watch. Unlike if there was like, okay, like obviously this person's gonna win and that's that, because compared to like everybody else, it's
Totally.
very
Yeah.
predictable. So this
Yeah.
was really like a show that you could talk about,
It
so it
makes
was
it more
really, really
fun for
good.
the competitors and the audience, for
Yeah,
sure. Because, like, as a competitor, too, like, I would much rather go into a stacked show
exactly.
than go into it being, like, 100% confident that I'm going to win because there's just
Yeah.
nobody else who's, like, on my level,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it makes it so much more fun. And it makes, if
Yeah,
you win, it makes it that much sweeter, right? Because it's
totally. Because you
exactly
have to work
so.
for it. Not saying that, like, you didn't have to work for it if, like, no
hmm
competition shows up, but still, like, it's a lot more fun having like a competitive game than just going in and like getting an easy
Like a
gold
sweep,
medal.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for
And
sure.
that's what made it so fun. But yeah, some things that we noticed the show specifically that I wanted to bring up was the look that everybody was bringing was pretty consistent throughout the board, as in with the conditioning, the hardness, the level of muscularity, even if the shapes were different, let's say. It looked good on
Lots of very
everybody.
different shapes, which
hmm
is like very
A
bikini,
lot.
right? Like
hmm
the thing with
Because,
bikini is there's no consistent front pose, like there's no
yeah.
consistent back pose. Like everybody has their own look,
hmm
but yeah, everybody at the show just looked incredible and like
Spectacular, yeah.
yeah, major
Yeah.
congrats to all of the girls who competed.
100%. The
Like,
two the two winners that so the overall and the other pro card winner, their looks were both conditioned, shape was good, like everything, like their posing was on point. So the way the judges went was very, like, you know what I mean, like it made sense, and that's why it was such a good show to watch. Obviously not everybody can get a pro card, right? Like that's unfortunate, but the girls that were lined up in the overalls all looked amazing. And so that's what I
even
think,
some of
like,
the second place class winners looked incredible and would have given the
yeah.
third winners a run for their money. So,
The classes were really so stacked, so stacked.
so stacked.
hmm
And yeah, I did this show, I competed at the show last year, and I would say this year was like 10 times more competitive, for sure. It was insane. I mean, last year was a good turnout too, but
Yeah.
Yeah, this year was incredible. So in the pro qualifier, we had Bella, who has been on this podcast before. I love
Hmm.
that. She took home the first pro card, won the overall. So huge congrats to Bella. Like, Bella has a killer front pose, and
Yeah.
she and Brandon were like hot to win it going into the show. They are definitely fan favorites.
Hmm.
Not to say that others weren't, but yeah, they were competition going into the show. They brought their best and they landed it for real.
Hmm.
And I talked to Bella after the show, and she was like, I didn't even react to getting my pro card. They called my name, and I was like,
Just when you know,
cool.
right?
Like
Hmm.
no reaction. And I asked her if she was gonna hop into the pro show the next day, because if you win your pro card at the pro qualifier, you can go into the pro show the next day. And she said that, they thought about it, but she wants to like come back undeniable and bring a killer package for her pro debut, even though it wouldn't
Hmm.
really be her pro debut, but still, she kind of knew where she would end up in that pro lineup. And her feedback was essentially just like keep building the glutes, but
Hmm.
her shape from the front is what won it for her for
Hmm.
sure, for sure. And then we had Sarah, another one of my friends, Sarah, taking home the runner-up bikini pro card. She has put everything and more into this prep, and yeah, she definitely deserved that win. I'm very very happy for her. She competed at Toronto Pro 2 years ago, and the changes and growth that she's made since then is
Hmm.
crazy, crazy. And her shape has come a really long way, and same with her glute density. So,
100%. Yeah.
yeah, she looked insane. And then our other friend, Issa Smith, also a very hot contender for the pro
Hmm.
card. And from the sounds of it, based on her judges' feedback, her glutes were just overpowering in the lineup next to those girls. I truly believe she would have stacked up in the pro show the next day, but in the amateur lineup, she stood out a little bit too much. So I know pro card is coming for her like ASAP here. She definitely has the pro
Expeditiously.
level.
Yeah. Said expeditiously.
Literally, yeah, I
Hmm.
hope to see her on the Vancouver stage in a month or so, because that girl has some insane glute density to her.
Hmm.
And, in bikini, they're looking for equal proportions, top to bottom, and
Yeah.
she has that. She is the epitome of bikini.
Yeah. I think when it comes to her look, it was just a matter of, like you said, it was just a bit overpowering next to those girls. But at the same time, it's not saying that it was a bad look, which is very telling. And also, like she said, it would just ask you fat. Like, you know what I mean? And what if, like,
Literally.
what feedback to get? Like, that is honestly, like, yes, it cost you a pro card, but that's the type of feedback that makes you say, like, oh, like, like I over delivered. You know what I mean? So it's that
Exactly.
kind of concept. So it's like you can rest assured, like, hey, the tweaks that we need to make is pull back rather than I need to go and build again and again. So I think she also, if I'm not mistaken, said that she was going through an injury during this prep too, which was very
She was,
unfortunate.
yeah.
So the fact that she delivered, if you guys go and look at like the playbacks of that show, the fact that she delivered a look that she did while being injured and barely hitting certain movements that we would consider very what's the word, very important, she over delivered and it was stunning. So I think, yeah, like the next stage that she'll go on, it's gonna be hers, obviously, and what a look to bring, right? So
100%, yeah. I
mhm.
would actually like be thrilled if I got the feedback that my ass was too fat.
I would go running around telling
Which
everybody,
is
yeah,
annoying,
guys, my
don't
glutes
get
were
me
too
wrong.
big, my glutes were too big, sorry.
Right, that's
Yeah,
what my feedback was. Too much
yeah,
glute. Said
I
nobody
would be
ever
so
except Ethan.
happy. Yeah, I'd be jumping up and down. So, no, hers was really good. Going to the show, I will say she was a fan favorite for me. But obviously, yes, again, Bikini goes for like a very specific, and if there is a lineup of that specific look they're looking for, they're gonna tend to go towards that. But again, that's just not saying that she looked. She didn't look bikini by any means. So it's just yeah, a matter of some tweaks, and she'll be back. But I'm really excited to watch the Vancouver one. The Vancouver one is also good because typically the Vancouver one, they choose bigger girls, right? So every year the Vancouver girls are just super developed. So I think that's a perfect show because I think when she goes into the pro league, she's not gonna have much problems, honestly. But
No.
Vancouver favors a look a little more like hers. So, and Toronto favors like their own, like they have their own look too, which it's just, yeah, a matter of where you go now. So that'll be an exciting one to watch.
I'm very excited for that one too. Yeah, I'm hoping to be there in person as well for that show. Which
I need like,
of course, got you. And then in fourth place in the overall lineup, we had Luba, who I also competed with at Toronto Pro last year, and I even said to her in person, like, she has made massive improvements. And that says a lot, only taking like less than a year off, like a relatively short off season. I believe she did Toronto Pro the year before too, and like it's not easy to make improvements in a short period of time, but she definitely did. And her shape as well is incredible from the front. Like truly, this was such a stacked show, and all of the girls have their own bikini look, but every single one of them is still so bikini at the end of the day. So
yeah, she's Corey's client. I knew her through there. So when he used to post her before I joined Corey, she was pretty consistent in competing back to back, and I think she took some time off, and that comeback was very noticeable. You know what I mean? The improvements that they made were very, very noticeable. That earned her a class win and then onto the overalls. So that was pretty cool. And it just like it proves, this show only proved to us and other people that time off does you a favor. So that was a really big takeaway, and if you guys could hear us talk right after the show happened, me and Bella were on it. We were like, we have to get back to fucking work. Like, we're so hyped right now.
literally,
And that's what like you need, right?
yeah, it just, set that fire under my soul even more to go
100%.
grow, because I walked away from that show and I'm like, holy shit, I feel so small and so flat right now. And it's a good wake up call for sure. You're like, yep, okay, back to work. Like, these girls have some glutes to them. And then, I mean, that was after the pro qualifier, and then the pro show was just like a whole nother level.
Yeah, that one was really good too.
But
yeah,
in the pro show, we had my girl Emily Beveridge doing her pro debut, which was really freaking cool to watch, because she won her pro card last year at the pro qualifier.
it was that close back, hey?
Yeah, she took one full year off, and she full sent her off season. She grew. And something that I really respect about Emily is she incorporates a lot of balance into her off season as well. And being her friend, I get a little bit more of the like background info that maybe like the online world doesn't always see. But like, let me tell you, that girl lives her life to the fullest, like doesn't say no to anything in the off season. If she and her fiance Pat like want to go for like freaking McDonald's or whatever, like they go for McDonald's, they go for A&W. But at the same time, like, yes, she's eating a lot, but she's also putting that food to freaking work in the gym. That girl trains like an animal. So you can tell it paid off big time. The improved, like, I thought she looked insane last year at the pro qualifier, and this year it was just like, holy shit, my jaw
got better.
My jaw was on the floor. Like, literally, I walked out from the venue to like go see her as she came out from backstage, and when I saw her, I actually like fell to the ground. Like, I'm not even kidding you, my jaw was literally on the floor, because I was like, what was that? And even she was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, she was not expecting to place top 4. I don't know what she was expecting, if anything. I mean, all of us had very, very high hopes for her. Like, we all knew she was going to do it incredibly in her pro debut, but being the humble athlete she is, like, she's so humble, and so I think it came as a bit of a shock to her too, but her presentation was flawless. Her look was flawless. And yeah, she placed 4th behind 3 Olympians in her pro debut in a very stacked pro lineup, which...
Yeah, well, girls came across the border for the show, right? So it was really
internationally.
Cool to see.
I mean, you got Brina, who barely speaks English. Where is she from? Like, Mexico, I think, taking the win there, which was no surprise. Her glutes are very, like, Laura Lee-esque, like the bubble glutes, very like dominant, like wow factor glutes.
No, hers is really, really good. It was like coming into the show, it was kind of like a no-brainer for her, just because like that front pose even is just like lights out. Like, she just looks good from head to toe. Not saying that the other girls didn't, but with the pros, it's very prominent with when they come in and when they're at percent, like, you know what I mean? And also it's just like how many years they've been in the game, so it's kind of just like a not that much of like a whoa, she won, at least for me. But I think seeing Emily on stage, like the growth from when she last did her show, because she wasn't small by any means during her pro qualifier last year, I think you said, but now coming into this one, it was just like she's doubled, right? Like those glutes were just, she turned around and you're just like, wow. And even like her front pose, it's just,
Yeah.
you
No,
know,
she
her
belonged
delts
up
look like
there.
they're just glued on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like she fully fit in that pro
Mm-hmm.
lineup. And you don't see that very often
Yeah.
with girls making their pro debuts and
Mm-hmm.
placing in the top 5. Like it doesn't happen very often. So I'm so happy for her. And yeah, she's got a few more shows lined up for this season. So I'm excited to see how
So
those go.
exciting. I
Yeah.
hope it keeps going and just gets better for her, because it's just, and for her it's like kind of like a no-brainer. Yes, she's new to the league, but she doesn't look like she's new. You know what I
No,
mean?
and
Her
that's the
her
goal,
look
right? And
fits
that
in.
was her goal too. She was like, I don't
Yeah.
want to do my pro debut until I know that like
I look
I'm
good.
bringing my
Yeah.
best. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And she
and I would be
delivered.
the same way.
Over
Like,
delivered. See?
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. And then our other friend Bella, so many Bellas. You guys have heard Bella Boss on this podcast before too. I believe when she came on, she was talking about her pro debut prep as well.
Mm-hmm.
She was just at the start of her prep for her pro debut, and she just made her debut on
Yeah.
the Toronto stage too, which is a huge feat in and of itself for her because being a natural athlete,
For sure.
competing, yeah, representing, competing against the not natty crew is like an insane accomplishment, and she held
Mm-hmm.
her own and brought an incredible physique. And talking about making quick improvements, she did
Mm-hmm.
that. Like she won her pro card at the end of October, and now like less than a year later, basically like only 6 months later, she's hopping on a pro stage and
Mm-hmm.
has made crazy improvements. So
Yeah, that one was a really good watch. And I loved her
beautiful
routine
presentation.
specifically. Like when she got on, it didn't feel like she was intimidated or like it was
Not
her
at
first
all.
time
I would
on
have
there.
actually been shitting my
Hmm.
pants,
Oh, I would have been
especially
stumbling. Sorry.
yeah,
Fully
especially
stumbling, yeah.
knowing that like I was natural, the only natural
Hmm.
competitor going into a stacked lineup of
Hmm.
dense girls, and yeah, she literally like did not stutter.
Yeah, she lit up that stage. But yeah, that
She
was
did. And
really
some
good.
like they just really captivate you on stage. And I think that's really important, especially
Yeah,
in bikini. Like you want that like wow factor, right? As soon as you step on that stage, you want to own it.
exactly.
And
So that
yeah,
was
both
really
of
good.
them did just that. So yeah, it was a really fun show to
Overall, it
watch.
was a really good watch.
Hmm.
Yeah. But with this topic, because of what we saw this weekend, and we kind of have an understanding of what the judges were kind of going for and what they were looking for, do you personally think that, obviously, like it's a no-brainer that bikini is, you know, developing and there's such thing as evolution in each category, right? It's not, I hope the categories do grow just as like time goes, because we never want to be stagnant, right? But do you also feel like to a certain point like bikini is facing this a more harder and over conditioned look as we go? Like what do you think? Because there's a lot of people who have stepped down like podcasts like whatever talking about some, you know, some bikini girls are having the same level of conditioning as figure girls. So that's been like a really hot topic there.
So yes, 100% bikini is evolving. Like every year, I would say it evolves, and especially with the introduction of Fit Model last year, and this is the first year that the Fit Model will be at the Olympia. It is evolving, right? And the Fit Model criteria is evolving too, but as we see the Fit Model division evolving, it's consequently forcing the bikini division to evolve as well, meaning the bikini is becoming that much more conditioned, that much harder, that much denser as well. Because Fit Model now is what bikini was like 10 years ago, right? But with that said, I don't believe the bikini's getting to the point, and I don't believe it will ever get to the point of figure conditioning. That is a whole different ball game, a whole different division, and I mean you have wellness in there too between bikini and figure.
Yeah.
And even the wellness girls do come in slightly more conditioned and harder than bikini, and then figure is another ball game in and of itself. And no, I don't believe that Bikini is following vigorous conditioning whatsoever. And if you do come in at that level of conditioning, it's not getting awarded.
Yeah, I see quite a bit of competitors in different shows. Not saying this one, but in this one too, like you will see some pretty conditioned girls. But again, like that's what they chose. We did see some girls with striated glutes. You know what I mean? So there's things like that. But I've seen in different shows where girls will come in with figure level conditioning, where it's like it sticks out like a sore thumb. You know what I mean? And that's not always the girl's fault because you have a coach. I'm pretty sure you're not getting yourself to that conditioning by free will. You know what I mean? Like you have a coach who tries to get you to a specific look. But if you take a look at it, those girls that do show up like that, which is tending to become more and more as we go, but the girls that do show up like that don't tend to score as high as the girls who don't come in at that level of conditioning. And I think at a certain point, some coaches are going to start bringing so many girls overly conditioned that if that's all we have on a stage, let's say, that's who's going to keep getting picked. And that's not going to be a good look for us, because at the end of the day, we need to understand that for girls at, any age to get to a specific conditioning, there needs to be a certain usage of PEDs. And that's just the hard truth. So I do think it always starts with the coaches, and then obviously it goes to the judges and who they're picking. But I think we've done a pretty good job in picking girls who are not coming in extra conditioned where it's losing the meaning of bikini. Because bikini is that feminine, ultra feminine look, right? Like that's the whole division. As if you separate it, bikini's their most feminine, elegant, proportionate, like hourglass, whatever. So I think if we have the trend go a different way, it's going to lose its meaning to that from when it first started.
Totally. And I don't see, like I said, I don't see Bikini evolving to that extent. Definitely not. I mean, I'm forgetting her name right now off the top of my head, but there was a bikini pro at the Olympia last year who actually just made the switch to figure. I don't think she did that well in her figure debut, but
I know who you're talking about. Blonde?
yeah, like high,
Ponytail.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. No, that I like Trend Bikini. I'm gonna be honest with you. I like Trend Bikini just because of her look, just like as a look of its own. But I understand why she made the move, right?
She she's
But
too she's too small for figure still, but too
she
big for
won't
bikini.
grow.
She,
She
she
won't
has
grow in figure.
no,
She
but
doesn't want to, which
she
is
got
fair.
laughed
But
out at the Olympia because
yeah,
she was overly conditioned. She did not really have bikini shape. Like her shape that day was giving figure, right? And it wasn't awarded. So
it was a lot. Like it was, and
it
that's what I
was
mean.
very
But
aggressive. Yeah,
with
and you don't want to stand out like that, right? You don't want to
yeah,
stand out like a sore thumb.
like you want to stand out, but for the right reasons.
Yes,
You
exactly,
know? Yeah.
exactly.
But with her, I think there's a niche topic for her, like, you know what I mean? And a lot of people understand the circumstances, but unfortunately, I don't, just because of, hey, you at a certain point, like, you have to understand what sport you're in. And unfortunately, if you want to continue in a certain sport, and the judges' criteria is set, you have to follow that, or you can't second guess as to why you didn't perform as well as you would have wanted to. But she doesn't want to, like, she is too conditioned in figure two, actually. That's the thing. She's overly conditioned, and they told her, like, the conditioning will be fine if you were bigger, but I think she just doesn't want to take the health risks and get bigger, which is totally fine. But again, then the same thing happened in bikini, where you're not fitting the criteria exactly, and it does bring health issues too after a while if you're just that conditioned, like, for too long.
100%, yeah, because I mean, we're not supposed to, humans are not supposed to be walking around just like muscle and skin and bones, right? Like, we're not supposed to be walking around with like crazy striations and feathering and vascularity. Like, that's not normal. It's cool, it's sick
No.
as fuck, but it's not
So sick.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And yeah, I feel like we should quickly recap the bikini criteria, maybe just for those who
yeah.
aren't fully fully aware of what the bikini criteria is nowadays, but they're looking for that symmetry top to bottom, right? They don't want your upper body or lower body overpowering
Yeah.
each other. They want your body to flow. They are looking for an hourglass physique that flows top to bottom. They don't want, any certain muscle group standing out, and they want you to be conditioned. They want you to be lean enough to the point where you have clear glute and hamstring separation. I will say they used to say that they didn't want like edged in tie-ins. However, this year I do see a little bit more of that edging in the tie-in being awarded. So like, the bottom of the glute insertion into the hamstring, they want, kind of want that to stand out a little bit more now, I will say, but they still don't want like overly conditioned hamstrings, and they don't want like any quad separation in
Yeah,
bikinis.
nothing dug out.
Yeah, they don't want anything overly dug out. In wellness, you will see obviously quads strip, like complete quad separation. In bikini, they don't want that. So, you know, when you're walking, you don't want your quads splitting. You don't want to be able to see your quad separation. And then in your upper body too, like they want capped shoulders. They want your shoulders to stand out from your arms, but not overly conditioned where you're like super vascular up top. You don't want your eyes to be drawn to the upper body, because ultimately bikini is a glute game.
Yeah. And the thing with that is with the striation conversation is you will have striated delts at a certain point, perhaps like that's just the reality of it. But when you fill out, they'll be a little more faded. If you're showing up filled out with like madness of striations, that's gonna get docked because it shows that you're overly conditioned. And where you can tell a competitor is overly conditioned is in their midsection, okay? They'll try and hide it, but there's a specific look to your midsection where the veins will not disappear as you fill out, they'll stay and actually get harder. So when we see that in some competitors, well, they're going to their front pose and I'm seeing veins, like hard veins, and you're like, okay, so there's, and then they turn around and you're like dug out hamstrings, and they're like, that's where it is. So this bikini, like our trainer Corey talked about this on a podcast, bikini is one of those divisions where it's the hardest to land specifically, right? Because the criteria is, yes, it's set, but to make sure that your athlete and yourself show up to meet the criteria at 110%, it is so difficult because you can miss the mark so easily.
Yes, 100%. And I know that Corey, actually, it's funny, he got a bit of backlash for making that comment, saying that bikini is one of the hardest divisions to land, one of the hardest divisions to peak. Like, oh, well, what about male bodybuilding? Well, male bodybuilding, you just fill out as much as you freaking can, right? Like,
you're big, you win. That's it.
Possible. Yeah.
Open, it's you big, you're big, you're big. Like, thank you.
But bikini, there's a fine line, right? Like you really have to hit the nail on the head.
What makes them upset is just the fact that it's bikini that's the one of like topic, because bikini is, yes, the smallest division when it comes to muscularity. That's not fit model because that one's like newer, but bikini was always just the least muscular out of all women's divisions. So when somebody says that, it automatically wants, like, people want to discredit that because you're not as big. But do you understand that there's
don't even
more
get
than
me
your size?
started on the whole comments of like, oh, bikini girls don't train hard. Bikini girls, like, you know, barely have to lift any weight in the gym. Like, they don't have to train hard. Like, bikini's like easy and attainable.
And I have a hot conversation for men's physique, but they won't want to listen. So we all have our own topics, I guess. So we just leave it. But
so true. But yeah, I mean, actually, like, one of my points of feedback for myself last year from the judges was that my upper body was too conditioned and too hard. And they told me it was too developed. But the thing is, my upper body's actually not too developed. It's not like I have to stop training my upper body. It was just in comparison to my glutes, because I needed more glute density in order to get my glutes lean enough. My upper body was overly conditioned because typically in females, you'll see the upper body lean out first before the glutes, just due to our estrogen dominance. And so because I was lacking glute density, my upper body just appeared like overly conditioned in comparison. Not to mention, genetically, I am an incredibly vascular person. So, you know, it's hard to like fill out my upper body vascularity without losing the lines of my legs that we want to see on stage. So it's like, it is really hard to find that balance.
Yeah. No, that's super fair.
Yeah, every
and
part fair in that sense, because the bigger you are, you know, the more muscle you have on you, the easier it is. But
you knowing that is a really big, like, that's what I mean. Like, how are you, if a judge told like a normal person, like, oh, your delts are overly developed, let's say, they'll just think, okay, I need to train them less. But having the discernment to know it's just how I'm proportioned is like a part of it, because we have to know that and we have to understand that and go, okay, I need to grow this part to balance it out. So that's what we mean. Like, there's very nitty gritty things that people don't look at because it's not their division, but it's not like a division where you can say like, oh, they don't train, because it's like, do you think I sleep and wake up like this? Like, I'm fighting for my life in the gym, guys. I truly am. But
No, literally, I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
I text Bella
It's
each time,
crazy.
and I tell her I don't want to be here. Please help me. Like, mm-mm.
Genuinely, yeah, I wish we could just freaking go to sleep and wake up and have massive glutes, but it does not work like that. Funny.
Pay. I would pay. And the thing that, like, on stage, like, back to what we were saying from previously, is on stage, like, yeah, we see these girls who look phenomenal, who come in with the right conditioning, shape, everything. But we've talked about this previously, that not a lot of people also want to take into account that we did see a lot of in this show, and we were so, that's why it was extra, like, nice to see, because everything was just so on point, was posing. Posing is a really big thing for any division, honestly. Like, there's no, like, oh, it matters the most in bikini. No, like, every division, you need to nail your posing, because I
Posing
promise
can
you,
be
it's to the point where the overall winner who won her pro card, if she had shit posing and it skewed her look fully, she would not have gone pro. You have to understand that showcasing the physique you built is the biggest portion of it. You know what I mean? If she posed in a way where her glutes were looking flat, or she wasn't carrying them up, or her hand was too back and her delts looked small, there's things that you can actually
not hiding
affect
her
your
waist.
placing.
Yeah,
Exactly. So
yeah.
that's how
And
big
it's,
of a
yeah.
thing it is.
It's mind blowing to me when I see, more so it's in first time competitors,
Hmm.
but in general, when I see people prepping and like not prioritizing their posing or leaving their posing to the last minute, or saying like, oh, well, I still got like 16, 20 weeks before my show, like, I don't got to worry about that yet. The biggest tip that I can give anyone who is prepping, especially first time competitors, practice your posing like literally yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how far out you are from your show, start posing. And
Yeah.
that is a lesson that I learned myself in my first prep too. Like, I wish I had started posing earlier. Like, I actually cannot share my stage photos from my first show because it was truly that bad. And like, I think I would have looked a lot better had I been posing properly.
Hmm.
But I literally like had my full on like midsection facing the front, like not showcasing my glute well at all. There's no S curve to my front pose. Like my back pose was like so skewed. It was honestly atrocious. Everybody
It
starts somewhere.
happens.
I didn't know any better
Yeah.
at the time, so I can't blame myself. And like, I
Hmm.
was working with a posing coach at the time too. But you live and you learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's no such thing as posing too much. I mean, obviously don't, force yourself to pose if you're super tired and reinforce bad habits. But
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like
There's
practice
specific
way more
things.
than you think. Practice your ankling, practice your
Hmm.
comparisons, your walk to the back. Have fun with
Yeah.
it. Like ultimately it's a dance on stage, right? Like have fun with it. And
Exactly. And
and
yeah,
invest
don't
in a good coaching
overexert.
coach who has a good eye
Hmm.
for bikini or whatever division you're competing in, because it's so important. It's not just a one size fits all approach. Like you really need to be working with someone who has the eye to be able to tell you, okay, yeah, like, adjust your front foot a little bit here, like twist your upper body a little bit here to showcase your best possible physique. Because the judges are going to judge on what they can see, right? Even if
Exactly.
you are denser than the girl next to you, if you are not showing that, then how are the judges supposed to know?
It's not a guessing game, right? Exactly.
Hmm.
No, yeah, like Bella said, it's you have to. And when we talk about practicing posing, people think you go in there, you do your routine a few times and call it a day. There's specific things when it comes to posing practice that end up helping you the most, and it's more than just running through your routine over and over again. Even if that's good, like, yeah, we do want that, but practicing your holds, going through rounds of different things that you have to do, like your back pose. And the biggest thing that I tell girls that I pose with is holding those poses is so important, because sometimes you'll be at a show where there can only be three of you in your class, but the judges will keep you up there, standing in front of them. And that's when shaking, trembling begins, right? So you don't want that. You don't want that because you're tired. So there's also something called posing conditioning, right? If your body's not used to holding that and just going through it over and over again, on your second or third round, everything drops. Everything. So it's a really big thing. And again, like it's such a big thing that the overall winner wouldn't have been the overall winner if they fucked up their posing to a certain extent. So that's why it's so
Yeah.
important. And if it's something that you can control, where you can pose for 10, 15 a day, if I were you, I would take it because I would rather spend that 15 extra a day than cost me a whole show day.
And it's embarrassing. You don't want to be that person up there who cannot hold their vacuum, whose posing starts to get sloppy after 2 minutes of holding it on stage. Because if you're in a big class, for one, with multiple callouts, sometimes you'll be on the sidelines and you have to hold your front pose for, 5 to 10 minutes even. And that will be the longest 5 minutes of your entire life. It feels like eternity up there when you're
So
holding your vacuum in that position. And so if you're not conditioned to that, it's like trying to run a marathon without ever training for a marathon, right? Like you're gonna
yeah,
flop like a few kilometers in. And
yeah,
then the other thing is if you're in a competitive class where, the judges are trying to decipher their placings and it's like very, very, very close in placings, they will run you and they will make you turn to the back and turn back to the front multiple times. They will make you walk, and they are looking to see who can hold their poses like after turning around multiple times. And if your posing starts to get sloppy, then you're being moved out.
you're
That
out
can
of
be
there.
it for you.
Yeah. What was it? And everybody stumbles, right?
Yeah.
So that's not the issue here because
No.
you're
You'll
human. You're
see
also in
how
five
stumbled.
inch
It's
heels.
not the end of the world at all.
You're
But
in
if
5 inch heels,
Mhm.
but there's a difference with stumbling and genuinely just not holding your poses or just as you're going to the back,
letting
like
your
you're
vacuum out, like,
flimsy and you're just like,
yeah.
but I literally have the one show that traumatized me the most was my second show ever. It was the show. It was my favorite, but it traumatized me because I kid you not, Bella, they kept us up there for 5 minutes and it felt like an eternity. And when it got to the point like where I'm like I'm gonna vomit. So when we went to the back, and every time that I would go to the back pose, I would just get the biggest breath of air because you can't breathe through your gut. So I would turn around, I
Literally,
would
at
just go,
least in the back pose, you can like let your belly out a little bit.
oh yeah, that's what, oh, I was going full. I was
Yeah.
not sucking out. Like I was, it was everything. So like
But then
and
you
I'm
have to like be
glad.
careful when you're turning back to the front that you
Oh,
don't
you
make
have
it
to suck it back
obvious
in.
that you're then like pulling in your vacuum again.
Make sure, so like tense that up because I like to flex downwards rather than upwards, like with my abs, just because that's when like my ribs just don't
Hmm.
flare. So I have to remember to do that on my way to the front. But genuinely, if I didn't come up with that thought right away, I would have looked a mess because my core would have just came undone basically, and I would have just looked a hot mess. So you have to
Like
be ready for
perfect.
things
Done,
like
done.
that. Like literally just let go, right? And I was sweating. That was the first time I've ever sweat
Oh
like that.
my God, name something worse than when your feet start sweating on stage and your feet are like sliding in your heels.
Fuck, my hair was sticking to my back, dude. That since that day, I knew posing was up here. I need to lock in because the sweat like getting from your hair and your tan, dude, forget it.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah, yeah. I always hate it when it's like freaking freezing cold backstage and you like can't even pump up because it's too cold, but then you get on stage and
Thank
it's like a
you.
sauna.
It's like it's awful. It's awful. And like having
Yeah.
to sit in a blanket. I like to leave the actual place like, where we all sit and go to find warmth, pump up, walk back in, finish it, and then go on. Because when it's cold,
Yeah.
nothing's happening. Sorry,
No,
nothing's moving.
no, literally it's
Yeah.
miserable.
I'd
Yeah.
rather be warm. No offense, I'd rather
Yeah.
be warm and have
Yeah,
a
I would
fan.
like to
Yeah.
talk to a lot of show promoters about two things. One, the temperature of backstage. Two, putting the box in the middle of like two stage divots. So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter for the other divisions who aren't wearing heels, but for us females walking on that stage in heels and you put the box like in the stage divot where like the two stages like connect, we're all gonna stumble. And honestly, it's quite annoying when
Hmm.
you step on the like crack.
Yeah, and you just kind of just stumble a little bit, and that's
Yeah,
why I'd like to every time that
or
we
your
do
heel gets
athletes
caught a little
meeting.
bit.
Yeah, so during the athletes meeting, I always make it a mission to go walk it before the day of
Yeah,
show day, so I
I do
could
that
know what to
too.
expect. Because you gotta
Yeah,
know, because like
and
sometimes there's like
envision it,
dead spots
right?
too.
Like
Yeah.
literally, like getting on that stage the night before and like running through your routine once, maybe twice, and yeah, picturing yourself on the stage, it does help a lot. to get the jitters out and just become familiar with the stage.
Also, you can't see anybody when you're on stage, so that's the
No,
best
the
part.
lights
Like,
are
you can see
sorry. Yeah.
nothing.
I know.
I see black, and I'm like, yes, this feels great. Nobody's here.
I would prefer it though because I don't like making eye contact with people who I know in the audience. Like I love that they're there, but I'm trying to obviously stay connected
Lock
with the
in.
judges for one, and then
Yeah.
two, it's just like it's kind of distracting and like I don't want it to like throw me off. And then I'm like suddenly thinking like there's so and so in the audience. Like no, I'm like in my moment on stage, you know, I can't be having that
Exactly.
distraction. But
Yeah. No, no, I
yeah.
would definitely prefer that too. But even if I was able to see them, I feel like since you're up there, like, tell me if it's just me, like, you kind of black out a little bit. Like, you can't really see faces of, like, just everybody because you're just so, like, locked that I just kind of just,
Yeah.
like, go through it and it's like I'm spinning and I just can't see anybody.
Yeah, no, you are so
Hmm.
locked into just doing your routine and like also in the amateur league, like we only get what is it, like 15 seconds to do our routine and like especially at a pro qualifier, they will call the next person's name. The person who's going after you, they'll call their name before you even done your routine, before your 15 seconds is even up, and then you feel rushed to finish your routine. So it's like there's just like so much going on in your head.
That's very true,
But
yeah. I think the only place that I've seen on an audience, unfortunately, was TNT. TNT was a little bright on the audience, and I could see what just right when
yeah,
I walked in
I remember
only.
that too.
Frick that, hated it.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that one was bad for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm. It was
But
a cute show
definitely
though.
on the bigger stages, like the Toronto Pro Qualifier stage, you cannot see anything.
Nationals, nothing, nada.
Yeah, same stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is how it should be. I don't want to be able to see all of your faces.
No, love you, but no, thank you. I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But after that weekend, like I said, the fire is so even more lit for me. I didn't even think it
so
could
lit.
shine brighter, but so lit, and I cannot wait to start prepping. We're both doing our own little quick little mini cuts right now, and then
Yes,
phase until the end of
our waist
2020.
is disappearing.
Waste will be gone, resensitizing those insulin levels, and then we push another growth phase, and next year will be undeniable.
And we will be at a stage coming near you. Thank you. Keep an eye out.
Oh yeah.
But
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
we
I
will.
what did we agree on? Potentially Alberta Open, potentially.
Yeah, potentially. That's a very potential, actually. We might also do Fuad. We might also do TNT. We have to pick. We
Fuad's in
have to come to
Ontario
an.
though, so
No, it's in
oh no.
Toronto. Oakville.
Ontario. Where do you think Toronto is? Familiar with Canadian geography? All right, well that's our
Yeah.
sign to wrap up this episode. Rutha did not
Sorry.
get a good sleep last night, so
So I didn't know it, but
she's
we'll
running on
we'll pick a show.
caffeine.
Just literally one energy drink and that's it. But we'll pick a show that we both agree on.
Yes.
Both. We could do Paramount. Okay, well, thank you for listening, guys. We really love that you came here. But
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you in next week's episode. And if you have any topic suggestions, any questions, as always, drop them in the comments, shoot us a DM, and make sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already.
you should have done it with the. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. You should have done it like a real
Smash
YouTuber. Come
that
on.
subscribe button, actually.
Have a good day, guys. Love you.
Love ya. Bye.
Bye.